And we are live on Facebook. Hey everybody, Andy here with In South Florida. We're here with our friend Mario Quintero. The one-stop shop happy hour is live again, folks. And today is Thursday, and we have another packed session. And Mario has floored me today with the content that he's going to deliver to you guys. This is a great opportunity if you guys want to learn about interest rates, or if you guys want to learn about the 5 things that can go wrong, the real estate transactions. Wait a minute.
88.
88 things that can go wrong in a real estate transaction.
92 during a hurricane.
92. This is a good time for you to share this on Facebook Live. And we are broadcasting. We're broadcasting here on 2 devices here, so we're looking at 2 components. But I'm going to continue on. I'm going to continue on here. Vanessa, welcome to the broadcast. Give me a thumbs up there in the chat. Audio quality. That's our producer back in the studio here. But welcome, folks. Welcome. This is a great time to share. Mario Quintero is a resource, a tremendous resource of information, and he is coming to you live every week with these nuggets of information. And if you're even thinking of purchasing a property, selling a property, getting a mortgage, getting financing, if you're even thinking about it, just watching this broadcast, you're already saving money. Because what he's going to share with you today is time saving and money saving. But Mario, welcome, my friend. How are you today this beautiful afternoon?
It's great, Andy. Good to see you.
Great. I want to get you closer to me, man. I see you a little bit off camera there. You know, I took a shower this morning, and I'm ready to go. So, hey, Teresa, welcome to the broadcast. I saw Tatiana there. Welcome, folks. This is a great time to share. Mario, so we're talking today about interest rates and the history of interest rates and consumers that are just like all about the interest rates. Why are consumers so interest rate driven in today's market?
So consumers are interest rate driven because of all the information in the news, the media talking about rates going up, the Fed with the rates going up, and you know they talk to their friends and family, and they talk about different situations that may have been in the past, okay. And they get nervous. They get nervous because they don't really understand the history of interest rates and how today's interest rates, even with the Fed raising at 0.25% each time, which the next one is going to be in September, we are still at historic low rates. And people get very nervous and anxious. And, you know, I did a history of the last 30 years, okay, that I showed you before.
Hello, Tatiana. Welcome.
And, you know, I don't know if you want to get into it by decade or what, but, you know.
Just give us a recap here, and I'm sure that people will get in contact with you to learn more, because this looks like a very detailed history here.
So from 1986 to 1999, the average interest rate on 30-year mortgages was 8.43 to 10%.
That's high.
Personally, my interest rate in 1983, when Claudia and I bought our first home in Cliffside Park, New Jersey, it was 16.25% interest.
Wow.
And we have excellent credit with 20% down. So that gives you an idea of how high interest rates were at that time because of inflation. From 2000 to 2010, the average interest rate for a 30-year fix, 6.2%.
Okay.
And then from 2011 to present, the average interest rate was 4%. And that's the point where they started to go up. So now we're a little bit around 4.875 to 5%, and they'll probably go to the 5 to 5.8%, 5.125%, probably sometime in October. But that still shows you that they are still historically low compared to the last 32 years.
So that panic, that panic is really, it's really no reason to panic, because we're really in the best times to buy a property.
We are still in a very good time to buy a property. It's always a good time to buy a property because you're always going to be building equity and saving money from throwing it away on rent. But right now, we are still in a very good place as far as interest rates are concerned.
So what's happening today with the Fed and regarding the interest rates? Any news coming out? Anything going on?
The Fed apparently has indicated that in September they're going to probably raise the rates, the wholesale rate, another 0.25%.
In September of this year?
Right now, this month.
Okay.
And then probably by the end of the year or in January, they'll probably raise another 0.25%. This is all being done in order to balance the economy, which is very strong right now,
right.
and to minimize the inflation. It is something that has to be done. It's the responsibility of the Fed and the government to do that, and they're right on schedule with their small increases.
You know, this is a topic that for a whole lot of people is probably very vague, and you know, this is one of the reasons that they need to consult with a real estate and mortgage professional. And I know that people have given you the name of the one-stop shop, and that's really a benefit to consumers and people that are watching. Welcome, Joanna. Welcome, everybody. For those of you that are just tuning in, welcome to the One-Stop Shop Happy Hour. We're here with Mario Quintero, and my name is Andy within South Florida, and we're bringing you valuable content today, all about real estate and transactions. And if you're even thinking of getting into a property or getting a loan, tune in, folks. Check this out. Watch us to the end. You're going to hear about 88 types of turbulences or things that can go wrong in your transaction, and you don't want to miss this. Mario, let's continue on the topic of interest rates. A lot of people probably are wondering, what is the main difference between short-term rates and long-term rates?
So a lot of times people get home and they turn the TV on and they hear on either business news channels or general news channels, and they'll hear something like short-term rates are going up tomorrow.
Okay.
Versus long-term rates. When they talk about short-term rates, they're talking about financing on cars, on credit cards, on things that are going to be paid off in 5 years or less. Okay. When they talk about long-term rates, they're talking about mortgage rates, 15, 20, 25, right. 30 years. So a lot of times people will hear a commentary about short-term rates and think that the mortgage rates are going to be affected.
There's a difference.
There's a major difference,
okay.
and a difference between short-term and long-term. So you have to really understand the difference in the two.
Mario, how much do you charge to give somebody that calls you all this information?
We don't charge a fee. Actually, according to federal regulations, we can't charge people. We can only get paid when we close a loan as a mortgage broker, and we can only get paid when we close a real estate transaction. Those are the two times that we get paid. So, you know, we invest a lot of time and effort in educating our clients and people that are just looking, people that are just
right.
looking for information. You know, we had a family here a couple of days ago, and they thanked me because they were here for an hour and 45 minutes
right.
just evaluating various different options for their family members. They were very thankful, very grateful. They go home, they talk it over, and then more than likely they'll call us back, and then we will start the process based on the options that we gave them.
So anybody that is watching this, or anybody that just heard of Mario for the first time, consider yourself that you just opened up your own savings account, and the amount of money and time that you're going to be saving by speaking to this individual here is enormous. You know, there's a lot of talk, and I have friends up and now in the area of North Carolina, and we have this hurricane looming. Talk about turbulences. You know, our friends are there are really going to be experiencing something dramatic and very tragic. Tell us about these 88 turbulences that can affect people right here in South Florida that are looking for a property or looking for a loan or anything in the industry, because when you sent me that file this morning, and we go ahead and work with Mario, and we get prepared for stuff, and he sent me the file, I almost fell out of my seat, really. So I'm really excited to learn about these things, and I'm sure that our audience now watching is really excited as well. I'm going to have some coffee here as you talk about these turbulences. Thank you, La Carreta.
So this is a list of the 88 turbulences that I review with all my clients, whether they're a real estate client or whether they're a mortgage client.
Okay.
And these are actual things that occur during the process. One of the things I tell my clients or prospective clients is that I show them this not to scare them, but to have a realistic approach through the process.
It scared me.
So what I tell them is that I'm your pilot, put your seatbelts on, because my job is to get you to the landing strip.
I love that.
And get you there safely with the least amount of stress possible. And if I call you during the process and I tell you, check your 88 turbulence list and go to number 46, that means that number 46, the seller, does not disclose all hidden or unknown defects, and they are subsequently discovered.
Wow.
So now we have a problem, because now our buyer can possibly either decide to walk away from the transaction or renegotiate the transaction. So that's where negotiation skills come in, and that's where having someone with experience will also help the situation. We have different categories of turbulence.
I'm looking at the list, man. I don't think I'll ever buy another property again.
No, you have nothing to worry about. So we have 32 things that could go wrong with the buyer themselves. And unfortunately, sometimes the buyers forget information about their past finances. They forget situations that occurred, things like that. So we really dig into these questions for the buyer because we want to make sure that they're upfront with all this information. We don't want any surprises once we get started with the mortgage. There are 13 issues as a minimum with the seller. There are 13 different things that the seller can create or become a problem during the transaction.
So Mario, we have 88. I know that we could be here all day speaking about these, but I'm sure somebody may have a question there. By the way, folks, we are live. If you have a question, enter it in the chat below. And if you're watching this on the replay, in other words, that you're not watching this live, you can still enter your question, and Mario or a member of his team will contact you and respond. Mario, you talked about these areas. What are the top 2 or 3 that people encounter all the time that they may not be aware of?
Well, the top 2 or 3 basically have to deal with the property itself.
Okay, that's very important.
Issues that come up with the property. The realtors, if you don't have an experienced realtor that you're working with and they don't understand the process because it might be their first transaction or they haven't done a transaction in a long time, that could present a problem.
Awesome.
And then the appraisal.
Okay.
The appraisal, we went to a national appraisal management system back in 2010, and we just don't know who the person is that's going to do the appraisal and whether they really understand the area or they sent someone from 3 counties over that doesn't understand Dade County.
That's horrible.
And then they make mistakes on the appraisal. And the last one is the inspections. You know, when the inspector comes in to do the inspection, they might find issues that were not visibly seen to the common eye.
Or maybe hidden.
So these are situations that occur. Now, I will tell you that as a realtor, what I do for my listings, and we're going to be doing this next Tuesday on a brand new listing that I'm bringing to the market, is part of my marketing plan. I pay for an inspection, I pay for an appraisal, and I pay for professional pictures and video to be done of my listings.
Wow.
So next Tuesday morning, I will be meeting with the team of all 3 because I need to find out from a professional inspector, okay, what issues are in that home before we even bring the home to market.
Wow.
Okay, so that I could give my seller the opportunity to fix those things so they don't become a problem later on.
You know, is this common in the industry? Do real estate agents do this?
I don't know what other agents do. I know that this is what I do.
I don't believe so. I want to welcome Christine. I know you came in. I want to welcome Maria, I believe. The comments are coming in very quickly, folks, so pardon if I don't greet you and welcome you. For those of you just joining us, my name is Andy with In South Florida, and we're here with Mario Quintero. The One Stop Shop Happy Hour show is on live every Thursday at 4 in the afternoon. And this is where you tune in to learn about real estate transactions, a mortgage, anything having to do with property. And if you know of anybody that is looking or planning to buy, this is a good opportunity for you to share this feed on your Facebook network. Share it with your contacts. And if you're watching this on the replay, you can share it as well. You can always type in questions on the chat, and Mario and his team will definitely get back to you. So let's continue, because this stuff is interesting. 88 types of turbulences.
So the other things that sometimes pop up is on the title. Liens,
Okay.
open permits.
Okay.
We just closed on a listing that I had where I actually represented the seller and the buyer,
Okay.
where when they ran the title work, they found out that there was an open permit from 1994
Wow.
regarding shutters. All right. The seller wasn't even living in the property in 1994.
Okay.
So it was the prior seller. And so with my experience, I went down to the permit and building and zoning department. I started asking a lot of questions, and after 10 days and about $110 in fees, I was able to resolve the problem, get the property re-inspected after pulling microfiche permits.
There's a blast from the past.
And surveys and sketches from 1994.
Wow.
Get it re-inspected, go back to building and zoning, and get the permit closed in
Wow.
order for us to be able to sell. So once again, that's where experience comes in very handy,
Absolutely.
knowing what to do when you have an issue pop up in the middle of the transaction.
So it really pays to work with an experienced real estate or brokerage professional.
It pays because it will get you through these 88 turbulences.
It'll probably allow you to get into your house quicker,
That's
avoid
correct.
any headaches, any issues, being awake all hours of the night trying to wonder whether you're going to close or not. You know, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Eugene, welcome to the broadcast, my friend. We welcome you to share this. We're talking about real estate. We're talking about interest rates earlier on, and the 88 types of turbulences, hurdles, and roadblocks that people can encounter on their process to getting the keys to their new dream property.
We're currently in a hurricane situation in the Carolinas.
That is rough. That is rough.
Hurricanes present major turbulence, not just in the form of
In
turbulence.
in the physical sense. In the physical
sense,
sense. Yes.
but
Yes.
in a transaction sense, it creates major problems, because if the property was not insured during the transaction and bound
Oh,
with a policy
Okay.
prior to the storm being within a certain square
Okay.
of that is drawn by FEMA and the industry,
Okay.
then you can't close on the property because you have no insurance. Then what happens is you got to wait for the storm to pass, and at that point the property has to be re-inspected.
In case they had any damage.
Any damage. If you had no damage, then we continue with the process. But if
Okay.
you had damage, now it complicates and adds additional turbulences to the transaction.
So in case we have anybody that is watching this now and thinking, I don't have insurance on my property, my home is paid off, my condo's paid off. We are in hurricane season technically, but our area, as far as my knowledge today, is not under any warning. Is somebody still able to insure their property
Yes.
now here in South Florida?
Here in South Florida, there's no problem. And outside of the area where the cone is heading into the Carolinas,
There's no issue.
there's no issues.
Okay, so but somebody should not wait.
No.
I mean, because we are in the peak of hurricane season, and everybody knows how active our area is for storms. So that's a valuable piece of advice that I'm not sure that other people are aware of.
Well, insurance is very important, and a home or even an investment property is an investment. And personally, I believe in protecting that investment.
Of course.
I see a lot of people that come here, and many of them more in the senior category when
Okay.
we go to do reverse mortgages.
Okay.
They'll come in and they're self-insured because they're on a limited
Wow.
monthly income.
Right.
Their house is paid off, and they have the option to purchase insurance or not.
Right.
In many cases, they don't have insurance. They're self-insured, so they're taking a chance And we understand why, because of their finances.
Of course,
and
of course.
A lot of times that's why they will proceed with a reverse mortgage, to have the additional revenue in case something happens, or actually they will be having to purchase insurance and able to close on a reverse mortgage. So once you put a mortgage on a home, you're going to be required to have insurance.
To have insurance. Wow, Mario, that is valuable knowledge. How can somebody get a hold of these 88 types of roadblocks? You call it turbulence. I call this roadblocks because any of these can probably impede you getting into your property, right? I mean,
it can impede, but once again, the experience of a professional can get all the parties together to get over this and be able to negotiate something that's good for all parties.
And this is something you provide completely free of charge as a service to your clients or anybody that approaches and say, I saw you on live stream, I saw you in South Florida, I saw you on Facebook, you know what? I don't want to take any chance. I want to deal with a professional. They can get this list.
I will give them this list, and usually I review this list during my first consultation. Whether it's a mortgage, whether it's the purchase or the sale of a home, I go over this entire list because I want to establish certain guidelines and certain expectations so that the seller or buyer understands what we're getting into.
And just to be clear, your first consultation is free.
All my consultations are free.
All your consultations are free. You give this valuable information to prospective clients, and you only get compensated when the house is sold.
When the house is sold, purchased, or the mortgage closes.
That sounds like a no-brainer to me. I mean, folks, the mind of Quintero. We talked about this. We talked about this in the last video. Go back to the last video and check it out. This is fantastic, Marty. This is fantastic, and we thank you for being a member of South Florida community and really providing this type of service, this type of transparent, professional services in an industry that unfortunately has been plagued in the past by bad apples and bad actors, but there's still good guys out there. You know, there's still good guys out there. Mario, if somebody wants to get a hold of you, what is the best way?
Our office number is 305-598-1600. My cell phone is 305-588-0451.
He just gave out his cell phone, folks. Check that out. Don't call him in the middle of the night.
I have people have called me around midnight.
Don't do it. Don't call him in the middle of the night. Also, if you look behind us, folks, it's marioshomenews.com, and that is his website. It is being revamped right now by us, and it is going to be a killer website, if I can use that term, where you'll be able to find all this type of information. You'll be able to go back in the history and see all the videos that this individual has done, and his commercials, and all the content that is being live streamed here is going to be deposited in his video gallery on his brand new website. And he truly is the one-stop shop. We call it the happy hour because it's almost 5 o'clock here in South Florida, but he really is the one-stop shop, a wealth of knowledge, and we invite you to contact Mario and let him answer whatever questions you may have if you're thinking of a real estate transaction or investment. I know we had some people on the last broadcast that were still renting a property, and we touched upon that. For those watching this broadcast that didn't see it, does it make sense to still rent a property?
It doesn't make sense to rent the property.
And I don't want you to give the full answer. I want you guys to go back in the last video and see it, but it really does not.
Sometimes it's the only option,
right?
Until people secure enough of a down payment,
right,
and have sufficient credit to be able to move forward. But if you have those two things, and you have the income to be able to substantiate a monthly mortgage payment with taxes, interest, and the monthly obligations,
absolutely,
it makes very good sense to buy. It's always a good time to buy.
Always a good time to buy.
Whether it's your primary residence or an investment property or a commercial property, it always makes sense. Wealth in this country has been built the most around real estate.
Welcome, Louis. Louis is another member of GKBA. Folks, we don't want to get into a lot of stuff about renting, but I'll give you a tip. Last video we did, it's all about foreclosure. It's all about getting out of that rental property. If you have student loans, getting out of those loans. Mario went in detail information on how you can start erasing if you have bad credit. You know, a lot of other roadblocks. It's in the last video. Go back and check it out. Mario, you're awesome, my man.
Thanks,
I
Andy.
appreciate it
Thanks for
very
coming by
much.
again.
I hope we don't have any turbulence here in South Florida for the rest of this hurricane season. And our friends watching from North Carolina, our prayers are with you, hoping for the best. And if you decide to come down in South Florida, you know, go ahead and give this guy a call.
Thank you. Thanks a
Awesome,
lot.
awesome. Thank you, folks. Share the love. Share this on social media. Andy here within South Florida coming to you live. Talk to you soon. Bye now.
Bye-bye.